what it is.
What's up?
Got your person in the cut.
Hot damn.
How are you?
I want to say I'm good. You know what? Besides the tiredness, obviously it doesn't consume my whole life. But I'm good. Let me turn that around. I'm good. I have been learning, but the professional learning, variation, and I'm not moved. But my salary will be. So you know what?
Good. Okay. You mean like
professional certifications? Okay, I've been doing those. Okay. So I've been doing that the whole week, and I'm like, I'm not interested in this.
I just need to see the money.
I need to see the money. That's really it. But how are you?
I'm good. Feels weird to say that. I'm all right. Yeah. I'm just came away from probably 20-hour no electricity stint in the wake of
come back.
Everything with the Madlanga Commission. It's back now.
Oh my word.
But it was almost 24 hours of no power.
That's wild.
And people are out here buying Lamborghinis. It's very upsetting.
17 properties. What do you need 17 properties for?
Let's start there.
Let's dig into that.
What is the level of greed that makes you inflate the price of something from like 100 and something rand to 50,000?
First of all, I just feel like maybe it's that thing of, I know the people, the procurement team probably,
No, but also everybody involved. 50,000 from 100 and something to 50,000 for one unit. Stop it.
And these are the same people whose lives everyone is going on Instagram and going, I wish, I want your prayer. Yay.
But discernment,
and where perhaps there is none, I would probably just advise to just look the other way.
Anyway,
or I don't know, guys. Follow your interests.
That's got me like, what the hell? But what if my interests are living a luxury life?
Sure. Good luck to you.
I think that feeds really well into our topic for today.
Yes, into our topic for today. I mean, in the last topic, we were kind of talking about around community and, the price of community being inconvenience.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what we kind of touched on was around consideration.
Mm-hmm.
But particularly what I want to talk about is, it does have to do with consideration as well as, community and inconveniencing ourselves. But now we're talking about the other side of, okay, but when does the other person inconvenience me? But I'll go more into that. But
go deeper, woman of God.
What I specifically want to talk about is the passive woman. The passive woman that sometimes we find ourselves in communities with.
Okay. You're cooking. You're cooking.
Sometimes we share our community spaces or communal spaces, not just like physical spaces, but our communities, our friendships, all of that. With obviously not sometimes, but women friendships, sisterhoods, and all of that. And sometimes, there can be some women who are a little bit passive about their lives.
Okay. Go deeper, woman of God.
And passive about their lives, I suppose, passive in their lives. I don't want to say inconveniencing the people in their lives. I don't want to word it that way. I feel like there's definitely a word for that. I trust you to come up with that.
I'm listening.
Taking, yes. I'll use the terms that we've been using. They are passive in their own lives. They are taking from the people in their lives
via the action that must occur because of their inaction.
Because of their inaction or because of their passivity. And they're doing this sort of waiting in tow for a relationship to come and save them.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say a man. We'll focus on the man part, but relationship, I'm going to put it holistically because we've seen it all.
So, I'm eating now. I'm eating. I'm with
so,
you.
The passive woman. How would you describe a passive woman? I mean, how would you describe a passive woman?
I think firstly, it's so important to have an understanding of all the different factors that shape our womanhood.
Yeah.
I think we both come from very strong matriarchal families in terms of the women that we have witnessed or the women who have been core in shaping how we behave.
Yeah.
So for me, growing up in a family where it's full of matriarchs and that being active and having momentum has been what has saved so many lives.
Yeah.
A passive woman or person within a community is a person that is not motivated to move because of various different things that we might not always have sight of, but you will often feel the results of their inaction, right? It will show itself in their children being neglected or themselves being neglected.
Sure.
And then that then means that other people in the family have to pick up whatever they're not acting on because they are sitting, waiting sometimes for, as you're saying, a relationship to come save them, or sitting, mourning the relationship that never came to save them, or the dreams that they were never able to fulfill. But I think within the context of this conversation, we're more focused on that angle where somebody is inactive while they're waiting for some kind of miracle that's going to happen, whether it be them being married by a rich man or them suddenly finding a dream job, but they aren't actually doing anything to work towards any of those things that are going to pull them out of this life that they have communicated is something they want for themselves. So that's what I think of when you speak about a passive person, like somebody who isn't doing anything that builds or works towards what we know them to want.
Yeah. For me, I definitely agree with that definition. For me, I think it would be, the way I see the passive person and particularly the passive woman is definitely from a lens of, how patriarchy, cis heterosexual patriarchy has really forged our identities. And I mean, cis heterosexual patriarchy, dictates that a woman must be passive.
Yes, actually.
You have to be passive. Yes. If to be considered a good woman,
you have to be passive.
When we speak about good women in the very, objective in the patriarchy, not outside. Yeah.
I just want to say, I don't know a single good woman in my family.
Not one.
I don't know a single good woman.
Not one.
I don't know.
Not one. And I certainly am not one of those either.
Same. I have no desire to be.
No.
But because we have existed we exist within a patriarchal society, but I've said this multiple times. I don't come from a family where people get married, where there's a man in the house. It's like there will be 2 or 3 aunts living together, raising all the kids. Or they will be raised by their mom. But the dads are just there lingering somewhere. Like I often think about how weird the experience is for my kid growing up with a dad in the house. I find that very weird. It's like, what is this man doing here? So I completely get how I can completely forget that lens of, to be considered a good, desirable woman, you have to be passive, because none of the women in my life are desirable, number one, in terms of how society frames it. I have not witnessed them trying to be. I don't know what it is to have like a male-centered relative that is older than me, or like
I have those.
That is around my age. So it's I always find it very interesting when I engage with people, or when I engage with how people express their womanhood in other areas, because what I've been seeing and what I've been knowing.
I mean, look, I come from a bit of a it's definitely a mixed sort of situation. I mean, my parents married for 5 million years, all of that stuff. But when it comes to the type of woman that my mother is, definitely not passive. Certainly not. I mean, I suppose there's certain things where it's like, she knows my dad, he can handle this. But even then, like, if he's not around, you must handle it, that's just how, it was always the case. And I mean, I suppose as well, growing up, and I used to travel a lot. So you obviously you have to be active, because you are the only parent, you've got kids, all of that. But generally, my mom has always just been a very active person, and like I'm saying, the women in my family as well are quite, active. And even where perhaps they have been passive, let's say maybe passive about something like education.
Yes.
They're definitely active in that they have some form of skill set elsewhere, whether it's in being able to grow food, being able to use your hands to get you, either to work or whatever it is, but I've also grown up as well witnessing those women who are also very passive, sort of sitting in tow and kind of waiting for a miracle to kind of, come, of which I'm like...
I have a question for you, because as you were speaking, I actually thought about some relatives of mine, and sort of was putting them in boxes, because we'll obviously speak about what we know and the people we've witnessed and what we've experienced. And it's quite an interesting thing to witness someone who is really independent, strong, like up it.
Yeah.
And then a man comes into their life and they just become this woman, but with their resources.
Yeah.
Like, all of this is happening with your resources, my sister. But this man has now turned you into someone who all decisions must come from him.
Yeah.
Before you contribute the same way you used to in your with your family in the past, you must now consult with this person when the resources aren't going to come from them.
Which is actually, I feel like it's so much more common. I think it's
very common amongst multiple. It's not even an age gap thing, but I think it goes back to what you mentioned about patriarchy and existing within a patriarchal society, and how even we can do all these things and be independent and but if the conditioning is still there and you haven't been able to, older generations, I'd imagine, haven't had the space to do quite of the work that undoes that conditioning. The moment that Prince Charming comes, even if he doesn't have a castle, he does not bring any gold, you will treat him like he does.
Like he does. And it's like, I think, for the people that have witnessed it, I have kind of witnessed it in a sense from afar, and as well, quite in close proximity. It is such a brain-busting thing to witness.
Because
it's like, we know.
But I sort of feel like even with my gran is quite matriarchal, very strong, very dominant. But the way she behaved with the women in the family versus the way she behaves with the men in the family shows me that if that Prince Charming had come, I don't know how she would have reacted. I can't 100% for sure say, she would have still been like the same strong, active, decisive woman I know her to be.
Yeah.
Because how she was with my mom versus how she was with my uncle are two very different things.
Yeah.
So it's like we sometimes think that the lives we lead, we're these strong women who don't center the relationships that they're in with men, all of this. But then what happens when we have boy children?
Yeah.
Like, because we all think we'll never be that boy mom.
Exactly.
But like, I feel like some women show up as that passive woman that is very easy to see in a romantic relationship.
Yeah, but
within their parent-child relationship, within that dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
So,
definitely.
How do we prevent that? How do we make sure that that doesn't happen? Because we're not very good at deciphering what's happening when that boy mom thing is happening.
At all. And especially, I mean, look, as somebody who grew up with a boy mom, I definitely...
Mom. But also, I can't even blame the boy moms, because I'm always like, what if it happens to me?
Yeah.
I tend to not think that I'm above everything.
No. Like, if there's one thing that scares me, it's really that.
What is that switch?
Yeah.
Because you will know someone to be 100% the most reasonable person in the world. Yeah. But bring the boy child into it,
and then it's just left. Or even a girl child. We see that with how, quite... Sometimes women can be quite incestuous when it comes to the enmeshment. Enmeshment, but also incestuous in the sense where, the girl child is kind of almost seen as a enemy. And it's what are you doing? What are we all doing, guys? What is that switch?
The whole mother-daughter dynamic.
That whole thing.
But I think you were getting to a point speaking about as somebody who grew up with a boy mom.
Yeah. Growing up with a boy mom, it's definitely fascinating to to witness, sort of seeing that sort of passivity with the boy child, and then not necessarily being active, but more so being overbearing with the girl child. But at the same time as well, being overbearing with the boy child on certain things where you're recognizing, something may not be 100%, or this behavior is this, and then on the girl child, it's no, she's okay. And it's
she'll be fine.
Yeah, and she'll be fine. Yeah, she'll be good.
But then with the patriarchal stuff, we're going to jump down.
Exactly, we're going to jump down.
Who's going to marry you if you don't wash dishes? If you sleep until a certain time? If you do this, if you do that?
Oh yeah, my mom used to do that when I was a bit younger, and I actually would just straight up be like, girl, no.
I don't even want
I don't want to get married. I remember the day so well where I actually just straight up said, who said, I literally said, who said I'm going to get married? And she was like, oh.
I think it's quite an interesting one, because I reflect on my grandmother and my uncle's relationship, and that switch that happened where with my mom, she was much harder on her, all of that. And I think you make a really important distinction when you say active doesn't necessarily mean presence.
Yes.
No, in the sense that, excuse me, I just had some gut drink. But active doesn't necessarily mean presence in the way that I am doing the textbook way of raising a girl.
Yeah.
And with the boy, I am passive with the important things.
Yes.
And then when I realize that I've been passive for so long, I now all of a sudden want to outsource how I'm going to resolve this to other people.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it goes back to
outsourcing it to teachers, to classmates, to your kids' classmates, to elder people in the family, to women relationships. It
goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about how when I think of a passive woman, I think of someone that can cause so much neglect that other people have to then come in and pick up. And I think I saw that with my grandmother and my uncle, where a lot of things that she should have been more present with and more honored with, she wasn't. And then the time she noticed, she tried to rope my mom into it. And then when my mom passed, she started roping me into it. And it's whoa, this is a grown man.
Sure.
That at the time that you were responsible for, you did not do the necessary things, and everybody makes that mistake. It's fine.
Yeah.
But instead of acknowledging that and having the necessary conversation with them in an adult way, you now want to fix and you want everybody else to get in on your project.
Sure.
Without giving that person the opportunity to actually stand up and try be an active participant in it.
Yeah.
Because you feel so guilty about your neglect. You want to display your care through bringing everybody else into it. And that's the one part I don't like about the passive woman, or women who tend to be passive about necessary life changing things, or things that will have an impact on their lives in general, because and the also lives even of those they're responsible for.
Because even when you do say, listen, you are doing this thing, you are transferring or outsourcing this responsibility onto me, it's almost like you shot them 5 times, because now it's tears, but also
it's how dare you not care, because I've been grooming you to be my companion,
to be
the independence that I've been teaching you. It has been so that when you become an adult, we can stand in this together.
Oh, but and it's
I don't relate to you like that. Because you weren't there for me when I was a kid in the way that I needed.
Yeah.
So now you needing me emotionally
doesn't make sense.
We're not going to connect.
It really doesn't make sense.
Connect.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of us have that issue with the parents in our lives, where they weren't emotionally available for us as children, but now they want us to show up for them emotionally and be a partner in dealing with the things that they're experiencing.
Yeah.
And it's you were so passive towards my emotions when I was a child.
Yeah.
And now you're expecting me to connect with you in this way.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's kind of tough for me. It's definitely something I struggle with. I won't lie.
I feel like I think things would be better. I'm a person that really enjoys somebody acknowledging a thing.
Yes.
Like I will hold it against you until you acknowledge it.
Oh, same.
It's a fault of
mine. You
mine.
must speak it with your mouth. Confess it with your tongue. The Bible even says. I
need you to say, you know what, I acknowledge that ABC, and then fine, we can work through it and move on.
Yeah, but and honestly, I know I'd move on.
I can't sit with the discomfort of knowing what you did to me.
Exactly.
And then just move on.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm pretending.
Yeah, now I must, sort of
put it under the rug. And
so you can be comfortable. That's the best part is that the other person must be comfortable.
I can't do that.
And it's like, no, guys.
And I think with we've had multiple conversations about this with the structure of the families that we come from, how different our realities are. The people that we grew up playing with literally have completely different lives to the lives that we lead right now. Some are way better, some are way worse, some are the same as ours. But even within that, and within this matriarchy that we experience and the impacts of patriarchy within it, we are all so different. So I think the question that I'm getting to is what would your approach be with an age mate, right?
Because there's one thing, before you even ask that question, if there's one thing about a passive woman, is that I've experienced her most amongst my age mates. And I'm like, where are you seeing these people that are coming to save you like that? Exactly. And why do you think it's me? Why do you think it's me?
But the thing is, I don't think they think it's you. Like,
I don't think it's anybody,
No. I think with people like that, they have this idea in their mind of this life that they want to lead. Right? You will hear someone literally be like, I want my first car to be ABC. But they're not trying.
They're not pushing
They're not pushing in school. They're not pushing like work-wise. They're not doing the healthy habits that whatever, or somebody can say, oh, I want my body to be like this, but they're not doing the things that will lead them to have that thing, basically in general.
Yes.
You in the interim, excuse me.
That gut stuff.
Dog. I feel like I've been burping on this podcast for like 10 years.
They're gonna say you are being called, isn't it? The drums are being
this also feeds into it, but it is what it is if that happens. It is what it is. But those people, like passive people will use or take from whatever is available in the interim while they wait for the greater thing. And that's why nothing that you do will ever be good enough, because they have this picture of so much better. So if somebody in your life is male-centered, has this belief that they're going to marry this rich husband who's going to change their life, they're going to meet them at the club or at school or wherever they believe they will meet them. When they are making you overextend yourself or expecting more from you in certain ways, that's just a thing for now. Like you are not the prize. So they don't think that they'll take it from anyone that can do it right now.
Good Lord.
But I think my question for you was going to be, there's been quite a lot of, we've seen on, I'm always on TikTok.
Love it.
I'm ill in that way. But we've seen quite a lot of the whole trad wife doctrine. We've seen quite a lot of, and even though sometimes people say it as jokes, the whole thing of, like, I'm looking for a man in finance, blah, 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 blah.
I'm just a girl.
Yes, I'm just a girl. I'm just a... No, I actually don't have anything against the I'm just a girl narrative, because it depends. If it's black women,
if it's black women saying it, cool. Black girls saying it, I'm fine with it, because we aren't afforded childhood. We aren't afforded girlhood.
Yes.
Anyone else, I don't care.
Holding on to girlhood, very important.
But also, I don't that infantilizing self thing.
No,
when you
that's
take it
the one that we're. That's the one that we're questioning.
The other one we don't question.
That's the one that we're questioning, because while the thing is with living your womanhood, living your womanhood, waiting for you to graduate to the next level based on the relationships that you will form means that you're stuck in that zone where you're infantilized.
100%.
It's like that thing where those significant markers in terms of you get married, you become a makoti, all of a sudden everybody has to call you Mama Gabani or Sisi or whatever. Like, people are literally sitting there in limbo waiting for those things to happen so that they can live their full womanhood.
The same people that will come and ask, no, as you know, how do you get to where you are in your life? And it's like,
I be working.
Yeah.
I'd be lucky as well.
Yeah, I'd be lucky, definitely. But I think at when I especially get like younger women sort of asking me, of which I'm like, I'm always so scared when you guys ask me that. Like, what do you mean? But, I think for me, it's as simple as just taking charge of your life.
And also the energy that you have.
Yeah.
If your energy, this might sound really woo-woo, but when my energy is in the mud, nothing good happens.
Definitely
nothing good happens. But when I have spoken to myself, I back myself, I want to move, I'm moving my body, there's motion in my life, things happen.
Move, exactly.
And when I speak something, like speak about something, say it, and work towards it, it happens. 100%. Because there's no other option.
There's no other option.
And
while you're waiting for it to come and you're working towards it, you're
getting closer to it.
You're getting closer to it. And that's what I mean when I'm saying, taking charge of your life. But you wanted to ask a question. You've been asking this question for a million years, or did you ask it?
No, I haven't asked the question yet.
Yes.
But I was liking the conversation. That's what we're here for.
Yes,
that's what we're here for.
That's true.
My question was going to be, we are seeing and witnessing people being passive.
Yeah. Increasingly.
And what would be practical ways that you would tell a peer to practical things or tools that you would give a peer in order for them to get themselves out of that? Because I think the most important thing that we always want to address is that there's a level of sensitivity that we need to apply to these conversations. Because I think after my mom died, I had 2 years of being very passive. Yeah. In terms of, I'm not a hyper ambitious person, but I have a vision of the kind of life that I want. Yeah. I have a strong feeling inside of me in terms of it being attainable.
Yes.
And
you've got the conviction.
I'm able to do the things that move me forward.
Yeah.
But I know what it's like to sit and not want to do anything.
100%.
I know, 100%. And for me, that was caused by grief.
Yeah.
So we completely understand that these things can be caused by multiple things.
Mental illnesses.
Yes.
But so many things. Yeah.
But also at the same time, it was like, for me, I had to get to a point where I was like, okay, is this what I want for myself?
Exactly.
Is this how my story ends?
And is this what I had envisioned before all of this?
It was so different to it, right? And I think because I had someone like my grandmother in my life who's able to pick herself up at any moment in time and turn her life around in her 60s, like that to me was, it just told me, it's never too late to 100%. Go for the things that you want, to get the experiences that you want. Yeah. But it has to be you that's going to lead that. Yeah. It has to be you, and that white man's paper, that education can unlock so much. And I know not everyone's route will go that way, but even within your business or whatever you're going to do, if you're going to be a nail tech, you need to go to school to be the best in a way that can do things in a way that's not going to damage people, blah, 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 all of that. So that for me was like, and the way that I've been raised and everything told me, okay, there's nothing that a man can do for me that I can't do for myself via school.
Yeah. Mind you, I had a very active father.
Yes.
Who was still very much active in my life and all of that.
Funding my education, being
100%.
active in that way. But I also realized that there's a cap even there.
Yeah, I think for me, not even. I don't even see a cap. Like I'm saying, he's still very much active in my life. As in, he's keen to whatever it is. He'll be like, listen, got you,
No, I see a cap in terms of, I like really expensive like shit. Like,
oh yeah. No, there's a cap. There's a cap in that regard.
Yeah, this person is not gonna fund my life in the way that I want.
No, 100%. No.
So with you in terms of the luck stuff, but I know like the basics. Okay, they would cover all of that. But I'm like,
I think
no, there's a cap.
Yeah, for me, even the sort of luxury stuff, it obviously there is a cap, but even that I would sort of get. But I think even in that sense, growing up, there was never any thought in my mind that somebody's gonna come and whisk me and save me. I don't know. I don't know if
I've witnessed it. So
maybe I don't
realistically,
know. Realistically, I'm like, why would this happen to me? I feel like yeah, granted, my mother got married. She hadn't gone to school. By the time she had married my dad, because her family couldn't afford it. They didn't see value in it. She had asked her brother. He couldn't take her. And she got married to him, and he took her to school, and things then moved. But
she was an active participant. Like, she studied and blah blah blah.
She had studied. Before even the studying, she wanted to go to school. Period. She wanted to go to school. She wanted to study. When she got, the opportunity, and even before she even met my dad, it was one of those things. You're working. You're trying to,
make ends meet,
so that you can be able to do this thing.
So I want to ask the girls, where are you seeing
this? Where are you seeing this? And I'm like, listen. And I grew up reading all the romance, the smut, the rom-coms, all of it. I was like, wow. And I still love that romance shit. I really do. But there is still no doubt in my mind that it's not on me. I mean, that my life is on me. It's all on me.
There's some luck.
And some luck and God.
People opening doors
and people opening doors.
But mostly you must be ready for that as well. Like,
so I find I struggle. As you were sort of formulating that question, I was like, I am so stuck. I mean, I definitely have sort of ways that I can think of, but I find myself so stuck when I realize that somebody is passive in their lives, or they are outsourcing certain things, to either friends or in this instance, we're talking about friends. I get so stuck because I'm like, where do you get this?
Where are you seeing this?
I don't know this thing. I don't share that sentiment. So
and you can't even say it's a result of growing up in under-resourced spaces, because even within those spaces,
even those wealthy
people are working hard.
Even wealthy people are delusional.
You didn't die of starvation because somebody was doing something. Like somebody was even if they were going next door to go get something, they were doing something.
Yeah.
So I really I understand how you say you struggle.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it goes back to making sure that the voice in your head and the belief in yourself is stronger than your belief in anything and anyone else.
Yeah.
Like any live being.
And especially a being that isn't even there, guys. A being that man is not there.
Yes, like it doesn't exist. I was nomzoba. But for me, I think that resolve will also speak to this thing of having a well-resourced dad or whatever, or uncle or whatever, but knowing that I can take myself to a place that
there are places where my dad hasn't been that I've taken myself.
Yes, because I back myself that much. And I think almost everything always goes back to working on your self-esteem in a way that ensures that you are so grounded and secure in yourself that you know that even when you're reaching out for help, or even when you are experiencing some level of being passive because of everything else that's happening in your life, people are like, this is not like you.
This is not like you,
That you are not identified as a passive person.
Yeah.
Awungomntu tyhafileyo,
exactly,
ungakwazi ukwenza nto, ungafuni ukwenza nto. That then allows you, when you need or you cannot function as a person, people are able to say, oh no, how can we help you and pull you out? And also it's so important to articulate what your vision is for yourself.
Please share your dreams with your friends.
So that we can anchor you and bring you back. But friend, like you've said, you want to complete this master's. What's happening? Why aren't you able to submit? Why aren't you able to push?
Do you want me to read your journal articles, summarize them? I've offered that to you. That offer's still up. Summarize them for you. Put them in the different, those kind of things. Because I can do that. Yes. I wrote a whole research master's.
Instead of seeing you as just passive, then we're able to identify, someone is going through something.
Exactly. And I had people do that for me. Literally, when I was doing my master's, literally had people coming to me, as active as I am in my life. They were able to see that, listen, this person
something is off.
Yeah, they're struggling in this regard. Maybe the workload is a lot. Let me help her in this way. That really is so I suppose, in those instances, I maybe don't struggle as much because I am that person who has, who goes through those moments where I am passive, whether it's an episode,
yes.
you're having a downer, whether it's grief, that's sort of putting you in a downer. But, having those people who can identify when you are going through that, but also being able to articulate. Sometimes, obviously, I know I struggle with that. But there definitely have been people who are like, listen, girl, like,
what's happening?
What's going on?
So I think for me, I would literally say articulate your dreams, the visions that you have, or the vision that you have
for your life,
or of your life, so that people are able to bring you back when you're veering off the course or you're not actually actively working towards a thing. Because sometimes you are actively working, but things aren't working out, and somebody can literally just put that ladder in front of you because they have access to it and they can get you to the next step. Number 2 is get it into your mind that you are the most important person in your life.
Number 1.
Like the person that's going to change your life,
especially as women,
is you.
We are not socialized to be
because
that
we're not taught
selfish,
to be ambitious. That's why I really struggle with even identifying as ambitious because my idea of ambitious is like this white man in a suit in a corner office. I'm like, that's not me. That's not what I want for myself. But we've never been conditioned to be ambitious in that way. And also, even within this ambition, it's like there's this idea that, if you're super successful or you are successful as a Black woman, then you're going to have lack in like your romantic life, or you're not going to have friends, or you're not going to have this, or you never. So then if you have all of these things, it's like you're not as successful as you could be. So it's like, it's a very weird dynamic. And it goes back to what you were saying, where it's like society expects us to be passive because passive is good. Passive is flexible and bendable and moldable to whatever this man that's going to come needs.
Passive is what gets you chosen.
Yes. And the politics of I'm like, I don't know how that strategy is going to work with the men we are around today. I don't know if things have ever been different, but I know they weren't different for my grandmother who's chasing 80. Even my other grandmother who passed away at 84. They weren't any different.
Exactly.
So I don't know where
with these ones, with this
1% that's gonna shift the game.
That's why I'm like, guys, I don't know. Like, at some point we do need to come to a point. It's like, but guys, what do we mean when we're saying they must choose me? How? I must also
be able to choose.
Because I think that was like the thing that a couple of years back, I was like, no man, guys, nothing makes sense. What do you mean? I must be with somebody. We are in the relationship together, active participants in the relationship. And only his go ahead is what
sparks
or kicks off us moving to next levels. What?
Yeah. Like, okay, now we're seeing each other. Courting,
logically, it doesn't
dating,
make sense to me.
Marriage. He's the one that's like...
Yeah, he's the one, When he then is like, okay, now I'm ready to marry her. Then he goes and it doesn't matter that you guys are having the conversation.
There, it's like you're passive in that situation.
Yeah, you're passive. And to me, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, I have to sit passively waiting for you to go. Yeah, hinting, maybe.
But not too aggressively, because I don't want him to then accuse me of forcing him into the thing.
But at the same time, I must also live in such a way where it's like, no, we can actually consolidate our lives. I am a suitable, and it will make sense. While you are still sitting there picking or deciding. No, guys, that doesn't make any sense.
And it's quite crazy, actually, because you're making me think of a situation where who was I chatting to? I think I was chatting to Nikki. We're probably driving to paddle or something. About a situation where there was a guy who actively pursued this girl for months. Made it seem like, you know what, this is the person that I want to marry. And she finally gave him a chance or entertained what he was saying. And then after dating her for some time, he was like, bored now. Move on to the next. And we identified that that's a pattern. That like a lot of men have. But then if I've been passively waiting for somebody who's going to save my life when they are actively just trying everything in the box. Like, my girls keep dominating those like be women in male-dominated fields.
Just
also be out there in the game, because there's no way.
There's no ways, guys. Like, we'll have the episode one of these days, but there's no ways. Nothing is cute out there. That's why I'm like, sitting and being passive about your life, waiting for a man specifically to come and whisk you away and save you just doesn't make it. In this day and age, guys, please. Just,
So even the jokes that normalize that kind of thinking don't sit
say
really
them.
well.
Yeah. But also don't put that
Internalize it,
don't internalize that. Like,
and put it out
don't
there.
do that to yourself. I found the power of work, guys. It's very woo-woo, you guys will see it that way.
I back that woo-woo stuff.
Ever since that episode where I said I am not saying self-depreciating shit about I literally have not.
And when you catch yourself doing it, it's like, this feels so foreign. It feels
literally.
nasty. I wouldn't say that to someone else unless they deserve it. But I wouldn't say that to someone else or about someone else.
Exactly.
So why would I think that about myself?
Me. So even those kind of things, you as a woman, even as a woman who is interested in romance and all of these things, don't put that stuff on yourself. Don't internalize those kind of things. I think, guys, like, please. But yes, you are still sharing. You're still sharing around, what
I think I was done. It was it was just the two things around verbalizing
your dreams and what you want to do.
And articulating it well enough for the people in your life to understand that you feel so strongly about this and these are the things that you want to achieve. Number one, so that they can help you on that journey, because you are the owner of that thing. Once you say it, as opposed to us.
Other people can't. Other people can't do it for you.
You'll find. I remember there was a joke around how you'll get family members when you're unemployed. You'll get family members sending you like job posts for the army or like all these things that aren't even what you studied. And it's like, I feel like if you articulate very well, Guti, this is what I want to do in my life, people won't have the space to try
100%.
dissuade you or lead you here or there. So that's an example of that. Then number two is backing yourself crazy.
Back yourself.
Be delusional about the things that you can achieve.
Even if you maybe you don't know how you're going to, but
you will figure out the how in the moving. In the movement, you will figure out the how.
Honestly.
And there's very few things that you will be the first person in the world to do.
You're not the
you
first,
can do it really well. You can do it well enough that it creates a really good life for yourself, and there's room for that. So you can do enough research to find out how to get where you want to go, because
there are people out
most things somebody has done it.
100%.
So those are the two things for me.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to get a little bit controversial, which we've been staying away, but it's but it's very difficult to do.
We're sort of edging you guys in. Now that you guys are committed, it's time for us to take it to the top.
So we've been watching the Madlanga Commission, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's quite interesting that with the SIU, Madlanga Commission, all these things that are coming out about the corruption and these young men, black men that are involved in this and what they are doing all of this for. Or how they are squandering the funds that should be enabling our country. Right? I think it's quite interesting that misogyny is creating a space where everything now is on the women that they're dating. Because those women, and I don't look at those women as passive participants.
No,
they are very active participants who 100%. Should get the heat as well, but they're getting a lot of the heat.
Even the jokes, the jokes you guys are shooting out about the women. Can you not be funny about the men? How about that?
Why do people struggle to make jokes about men?
These are the guys that actively did that. He is the one that when he was thinking the procurement team, he's the one that said 50,000 instead of
180 or 140 or whatever.
So why can't you?
Why? This is a challenge. A challenge.
Absolutely.
Make a joke about a man.
Make a joke about a man being a thief, because that's what. So why are you so B613?
All the women
all
are
the
part
women.
of B613. How
about you get creative about the men?
SIU is using the women as spies.
Please.
Oh, the SIU is
These are
commenting
active participants.
on
Once
the
again,
women's,
even there.
What's this on their Instagram pages? Oh, so and so deactivated the SIU. It's misogyny.
It's misogyny, but it's also a tactic. Right? Like, hear me out. Hear me out, guys. And this is why, personally, I hate an association with a man. But sorry, guys.
No, I get you 100%.
I hate an association. I hate an association with a man.
Big experience of how negative an association with a hyper-visible man can be.
Listen.
It's yucky. It's not nice.
Okay.
Because everything will be put on you and the woman that's associated with them. 100%. I've experienced that so much.
And listen, since we're talking about passive women and we all want to be active women in this lifetime. We know that's the goal. Being so quick to associate or to let these men associate with you, it's a tactic, guys. These guys know. Why would they go for these hyper visible women? Granted, some of these women
are the ones that are doing the pursuing.
Are the ones that doing
they go for hyper visible women.
They go for hyper visible women because it's a fishing tactic because they also want the girls too.
Yeah.
Now there he is trying to fish for all these women, and now you as the women are also there posting all of this. He's having a good time with those DMs.
You're busy here fighting.
You're here fighting, and you're here making it seem like me and baby and I are like laughing about. No, we're laughing about these DMs. They're like busy. He's definitely out here.
He's showing you the ones he's not.
He's showing you the ones that he's not hitting. Exactly. But what I'm trying to say is that in part of being an active woman, you really need to be discerning about who you associate with. Who you let, associate
with you. And also how you mold your life and how you express your personhood. Because if you are going to express your personhood using things that have to be received through extremely ill-gotten gains.
Yeah.
Like gains from people not having beds in hospital.
Yeah.
Asbestos, people dying from the levels of asbestos in their households.
People being assassinated.
Us not having power from ESCOM because people are buying units for 50,000 Rand that should be 100 and something.
Like,
if that is the lifestyle that you are going to portray, then there's a problem, or you are accepting that you will be brandished in a certain light when these things come up.
100%.
So,
which is why I usually don't feel bad when they do kind of complain about that. Like, no, but what about you knew when you decided you wanted to
this is the lifestyle you want to live without putting in the work.
Exactly.
Well, I actually think like there's no amount of work that you can put in to get certain lifestyles.
No.
I genuinely believe that there is no amount of work because even the billionaires of this world, it's all ill-gotten.
Yes, 100%. It's ill-gotten gains.
None of it is clean.
Yeah.
None of it is clean.
Yeah.
So there's a lifestyle that we shouldn't aspire to begin with. Stop wanting to know people's prayers. Yeah. Stop wanting to know who the gogo they go to is, because there should be signals that tell you that none of this is legal.
Yeah. But I'm also like, guys,
even if it's legal, actually, it can still be questionable. The law can't be your moral guide.
I think even that is passivity. When, that is passivity. You are outsourcing your aspirations. You are outsourcing that. Yes, guys, we templates, we see templates in real life. We see them in practice. But, we are outsourcing the things we want, the things we are aspiring to, the things, all these things. We are outsourcing them to from like social media and these people that are living those lives. We don't even know what we want for ourselves because now you
haven't taken the time to sit and think.
You know what? Do I like the idea of traveling to Paris
do I like the idea of traveling?
Do I like the idea of traveling? Point blank. Period. And that's okay.
But when those are the markers of upward mobility, or doing well, it's like, oh, okay, in order for me to feel like I'm fine, I need that one international trip a year. I need this, I need this, I need this.
But does it have to do with the markers, or does it have to do with having an adventurous spirit?
No,
it's those kind of things where I'm like, I want us to dig deeper.
You have to question yourself.
Question yourself.
I think it's what I spoke about when we what I think I wrote about it on Substack when I didn't buy clothes.
Oh yes,
for like
yes,
a
yes.
year.
We did speak about
and how you realize that those things are markers.
Yeah, they're markers.
A lot of those things are markers.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have very little to do with the functionality or how they make our lives better in terms of our lives, our media lives, not how we are perceived and received and how people respond to us because of having certain things.
Precisely, because I cannot
that a lot.
I cannot insist that I have an adventurous spirit and I love exploring, but I insist on
following the template.
Following the template.
I'm gonna chase summer.
Yes, I'm gonna chase summer. I'm gonna go Euro summer. I'm gonna
all the things that everybody does.
And it's like it doesn't stem from a place of I actually really love this. I really want to just experience.
This is what I'm into.
This is what I'm into, and there are other ways in which I can garner that feeling. I mean, since I traveled overseas, I haven't traveled. Hopefully, God willing, I do this year. But I mean, I was able to still feed my adventurous spirit in other ways. I'm able to kind of fill that space and say, okay, well, I may not be traveling because also I wasn't born traveling to Europe, isn't it? So I was born traveling in this common South Africa of ours. So if I can do it, why not? If I can travel to the rest of the continent, why not? It doesn't have to be this like marker of, it has to be now this like, luxurious Euro trip and I have to be, no. And
I have to be like,
no. Yeah. And also if it's not something you want, don't do it.
Yeah.
Not even for the eyes. Not even so people can say,
I think
wow,
we need to block out
amazing.
the eyes so much. We need to block out the eyes so much.
Like just as much as we block out the criticism, I often think
the
admiration as well. I don't think it should sway you just as much. I feel like an equal measure.
It's actually quite interesting. It's very interesting to, I don't know, maybe a lot of people have this experience.
Yeah.
But to know quite a lot of hyper-visible people or people who have been hyper-visible in the past and to see them trying to reckon with the lack of admiration is quite a thing to witness. It's quite a thing to witness. And I don't think we ever sit and think about, well, I know we have because we've spoken about it's not normal to have like 20,000 people agreeing with you and 20,000 people disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people have those experiences and not a lot of people know as many hypervisible people as we know.
Yeah.
But we know what the addiction to admiration can do.
Yeah.
And when it's taken away, how a person can short circuit. But that was us being controversial.
Yeah, that was us being controversial. But if
you are. But I think while we were being controversial, speaking about this whole controversial topic, I started thinking around how we can be super active but actually passive about our true desires.
Ooh.
Like within all this being active in terms of when you're doing all these things
I love that.
For the eyes or doing all these, performing all of these things because life is a great performance.
Yeah.
But
our true
desires, not feeding your truest desire because it doesn't match the depiction of what womanhood or personhood should be for someone who is where you are or in this range that you're in. Yeah. And I always think about it for myself as a somewhat more masculine presenting woman who certain people have an expectation in terms of how I should be presenting and the desires that I have in terms of I want to be out there climbing trees, running, cycling, and all these other things that people don't consider to be ladylike, but it feeds me.
It feeds me.
It feeds me and I feel full and I can walk in any space and feel okay and be myself.
I had somebody asking me like, oh, like why don't you get somebody to do your garden? That small garden of mine. But first of all, it feeds me.
I can do it myself.
So but it feeds me.
I often think about how we can think that we are super active. But when we're not doing those things that we want to do deep inside, we're not. We're also passive.
Yeah, there's passivity in that too. Wow, that's a good
question to close things off would be, what do you do to ensure that you don't slip into being passive?
Passivity.
Or when you found yourself,
how do you ground yourself
to be passive in your own life?
What
are the things that have helped you pull yourself out of that
Yes.
and get yourself back on track.
Share that with us. One of these episodes, we will share that too, because it's definitely happened. That's for sure.
Multiple times in my life.
Without a doubt. So you know, yeah. As much as we may not be used to growing up passive, but these things.
I've had my moments.
Definitely.
And my moments have lasted for years.
Yeah.
And sometimes they last for a day, a month,
Exactly.
sometimes. But I know for a fact that I had a 2-year stint.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I was not myself.
Yeah. I remember that.
So it was grief.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the question on the table. Please comment, like, subscribe. I'm really loving all of your comments on Spotify. It's amazing. We would like to respond to everything. We'll address some things here.
Yes, yeah. I saw someone asking about the pants in our in the name. I did explain it. I did, respond to the comment, but I realized maybe
a lot of people don't know where the name comes from.
Yeah, so if you guys have made it this far, I hope you have. Sisterhood of the Traveling Mgowo is a play on the movie Sisterhood of Traveling Pants, which is a coming of age movie. It's like a dramedy with America Ferrera and a bunch of other icons. It's a movie I really love, but they are teenagers, they're best friends, it's 4 of them, and they are spending their first summer holiday, December. Think about it, it's December now, we're closing schools, and it's the first summer holiday they're spending not together. So they're like, okay, like we need to find a way to connect with each other during this summer break where we're not together. So they go to the shops, and they find a pair of jeans that somehow fits all of them, despite them having different bodies and all of that. And so literally in during that summer they basically stay connected through the traveling pants. So that's where that comes from. That is essentially what we're doing. We are, exchanging
stories, Mgowo, life experiences, just so that we can remain connected and not isolated in how we are experiencing this world.
Absolutely.
And we're so grateful to have you along on the journey with us.
Yes. So like, comment, subscribe, follow, all of those things. Please do. So whenever we have, surprises, we never know, competitions, all these things. It's coming. But yeah, thank you all so much. Enjoy your day. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.